Hello again and welcome to your Hatha flow. So this will feel a little bit slower than Vinyasa with no actual Vinyasas in. Okay, maybe one. That's Hatha flow. So we're going to begin in our child's pose. So let's send the knees wide, big toes to touch, and bring the forehead down to rest on the floor. If it doesn't reach the floor, you can use a block, or you can bring your forehead onto your hands. Starting to take some deep breaths in and nourishing breaths out. 3 more like this. Allow your shoulders to relax. One more. And then let's start to lift ourselves up, meeting into our tabletop position as we come into our thread the needle. So have the knees hip distance, and let's start by reaching the right arm up to the sky. Take a full breath in, and as you exhale, thread it through. Bring the right shoulder and the side of the head all the way down to the mat. Press the left hand into the floor to help open out through the chest, and keep pressing that straight arm and the hand into the mat as well. Try to keep the equal weight in both of the knees and see if you can spiral that chest open a little more. If you want to go a little further, you can have a go at stepping that left foot to the back. Or if you feel nice and balanced, start to lift that left leg up to the sky. Engaging through the glutes if you are lifting. One more breath in. And then let's slowly release it back down and find your way back to your tabletop position. Find that neutral length in the spine and the neck. Full breath in. Full breath out. Other side, left arm reaches up high. And then thread it through. Bring left shoulder and the side of the head down to the mat. Press the right hand into the floor, open the chest, press the straight arm into the mat. Try and have equal weight in the knees, realigning the hips. You can stay there, or if you did it on the other side, stepping the right foot to the back, keeping it on the ground or sending it up towards the sky. Engage through the glutes. Can you lift the heel a little higher? Can you straighten the leg a little more? One more breath. And as you exhale, release the knee down and find your way back to your tabletop position. Find that length in the neck, that length in your spine. Full breath in. Okay, this time keeping the hips stacked on top of your knees. Let's start to walk the hands forwards. So tilt the sit bones up to the sky. And as you surrender the chest down to the floor, maybe the forehead reaches the mat or a cushion or a block. If the forehead has come down with ease and you want to intensify it a little more, go a little deeper, look forwards and bring the chin down to the floor. Finding this length along the side of your waist, around the shoulders, press the hands into the mat. And as you breathe, breathe into the back of the ribs. Let's go for one more breath. And then if the elbows and forearms are lifted, bring them down to the mat and lift the head and start to slide your hips and legs down to the ground. So you've come into your Sphinx pose. So pressing down into the elbows and forearms. Elbows are stacked under shoulders as you reach the crown of the head up. Gently press the pubic bone down into the mat and see if you can find a little more length between ears and shoulders, relaxing through the face, the jaw, the eyebrows. And as you're lifting up, is there space for you to energetically pull your chest forwards as if you were trying to bring it in between your arms? Can you soften the shoulders a little more? Let's lift up a little higher. Good, one more breath. And then start to open the elbows out to the side and bring the forehead all the way down. So we're going to come into our broken wing. So let's reach the left arm out to the side. Bring the right hand underneath the shoulder. Now, if this feels too strong in the left shoulder in just a moment, you can always slide that hand in a little closer towards the body. Okay, we're going to roll all the way up and over onto the left side. So you can bring the head down. The right hand is in front of the chest to support. There's a few options, so you stop whenever you need to. You can stay here trying to stack the hips on top of one another and opening through the chest. The next option is to bend the top knee, the right knee, and bring the foot down to the floor, just behind the left leg, and then try to point that kneecap up to the sky. The more you send that knee away from the center line of the body, the deeper the stretch in your left shoulder. You can stay there, or you can bring that right hand behind you and just rest into the small of your back. Wherever you are, let's take 3 deep breaths. Good, then release the right hand back down in front of the chest, release the leg, and let's roll back over onto our belly, and then switch over the hands. Bring the left hand under the shoulder, right arm reaches out to the side, and we come and roll all the way over onto the right side. Again, sticking with that support, having the legs straight, stay there. Or you're bending the left knee, bring it down to the floor behind you and opening that knee away from the body. You can stay like this, or you can start to bring that hand behind you into the small of the lower back. And then again, wherever you are, 3 more breaths. Try to soften into the shape. Last one. And then release the left hand back down, release the top leg, and let's roll back over onto the belly. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows point up and back, and let's press all the way up and back into a child's pose. Free up that space around the lower back and around the ribs. Let's take a few breaths here. Let the weight of the head surrender to the floor. Let the weight of the hips surrender to the heels. Okay, let's start to find our way back to our hands and knees, and then tuck the toes under, lift the knees and hips, come into your downward facing dog. And once you get there, just starting to pedal out through the legs, bending one knee at a time, lengthen one calf and hamstring, and lengthen the other, pushing the floor away through your hands, spreading the fingers wide, and then pressing whatever part of the foot is into the mat as well. Pressing action through hands and feet. Let's take a few spinal rolls. So we inhale, roll it forwards into our plank. Bend the knees and roll the hips all the way back up. And again, rolling it forwards and rolling it back. Last one, rolling it forwards and rolling it back. Good, right leg goes up high. Bend the knee, stack open through the hips. Bring the knee to nose and step the foot to the top of the mat. Give it a helping hand if you need. Back knee comes down and tuck the toes. So let's stay on the fingertips and try and lengthen up through the crown of their head, softening into the shoulders as you ground into that front heel. As you exhale, is there space for you to soften into the hips, trying to lower them down to the mat, millimeter by millimeter. Good. Relax the muscles around the face. One more breath here. And then placing the hands, the palms back down to the floor, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Let's send that right leg back up to the sky and then bring the right knee behind the right wrist as the shin goes across the mat and slide that left leg out behind you, making sure that that left foot is in line with your hip and it's not gone too far out to the side. And if you have the space, come and move that right foot away from the hip. Using any props or cushioning underneath the right hip if you need to take away from the pressure. Let's walk the hands in a little more as you press them down. Start to lift open through the chest. Take a full breath in. Then as you exhale, come and carry yourself forwards and down, forehead, reaching down to the forearms, fists, prop, or the mat. Try to keep equal weight in both sides of your hips. Both hip bones pointing down to the floor. Can you surrender the weight of the head and the shoulders down to the mat? Noticing if any part of the body is trying to hold on, trying to protect you here. And as we continue to take these long, deep breaths in and out, you're helping to calm the nervous system just to reassure that everything is okay. And then just allow the body to let go. Taking your deepest breath in and your deepest breath out. Let's come and find our way back to the hands and back to your downward facing dog. Pedaling out through the legs, finding that release through the hips, however you need. Then let's come to the other side. So left leg goes up high, bend the knee, stack open through the hips. And then bring the knee to nose and step the foot to the top of the mat. Use a helping hand in order to get it there. Back knee comes down and tuck the toes. Come up onto the fingertips, lengthen the arms, open out through the chest. If you can't have the fingertips here and you've got blocks, you can place your hands onto blocks. Try and reach up through the crown, soften the muscles around the face. Ground into the heel, ground into the hips. Allowing that long, lengthening, nourishing breath to help find a little more space in the body, a little bit more comfort amongst the discomfort. Let's go for one more breath here. And then placing the hands back down, tuck the back toe. We send the left leg back up to the sky and then start to bring that left knee behind the left wrist as the shin goes across your mat. Slide that right leg out behind you. Make sure the toes are in line with the hip. Use any support, any blocks, cushions underneath the hips if you need. Let's walk the hands in a little closer to the knee. Inhale, lift and open through the chest. And then as you exhale, come and fold forwards and down, using whatever prop you need in order to get the head down towards the ground. And let's have both hip bones facing back down to the mat and just observing if one side feels slightly different to the other. Our body isn't meant to be equal. So if one side feels a little tighter, allow the breath to feel even more nourishing. Observe where those tension points may arise, where you're holding on. Is it the jaw? Is it the eyebrows? Is it the shoulders? Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, can you let them go? Good. Let's take a full breath in. Deep breath out. Come and find your way back up onto the hands and back into your downward facing dog. Find that release along the left side this time. Stretch it out, pedal it out, whatever you need. And we're going to take our vinyasa, but we're going to take a slow vinyasa to the count of 4 for each movement. And on that last count, get into that full expression of the pose. So roll to plank for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down with or without the knees. 4, 3, 2, 1. We inhale, lift up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to down dog for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Come and find your way through to seated. And let's extend the legs out in front. Bringing the right foot in towards the left inner thigh. So you're making this L shape with the legs. Twist the body over the extended leg. Now if you're finding any tightness, strong tightness or super tightness in the hip on the right side, you can use a block and place it underneath the knee so you've got something to press into. Otherwise, if you're all right, just don't use anything. Bring the hands either side of the leg. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, folding forwards and down. Trying to square the chest towards the toes. Open the elbows out to the sides. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. If you need to, you can always bend the left knee as well. Try to square out the shoulders. I bet that right armpit is lifting up slightly. Just see if you can draw it down a little bit more. 2 more breaths. Find that length on the inhale, that softness as you exhale. Last one. Good, and then let's start to lift all the way back up. Place the right hand behind you. Remove the block if it's underneath this right leg and start to roll onto the right side. Press your right knee and shin down. Lift the bum, lift the hips. Stretch that left arm up and away. Baby wild thing. Point the left toes away from the fingertips. And then start to release all the way back down. Let's lift that right knee in. Cross it over the left leg. Hug in the knee with the left arm and bring the right hand back behind you once more. Flex your left toes. Deep breath in. Exhale. Find your twist. Try and lead the twist with the chest and not so much with your chin. And if this isn't strong enough for you, you can bring the back of the arm on top of that thigh and find a little bit more resistance. Inhale, reach up through the crown, soften the shoulders. Exhale to twist. Good, let's have 2 more here. Good, and then bring it back to center. Take a little counter twist to the other side. And then release. Let's switch over the legs. So left foot comes towards the inner thigh. Again, use that prop underneath the left knee and hip if you need. Square the body over the extended leg. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, coming to a fold forwards and down. Again, see if you can bend the elbows out to the side. Shine chest to the toes. Bend the knee if you need. And that left shoulder is probably lifting up slightly. Can you roll the armpit and shoulder down, squaring out through the shoulders? Inhale to find your length through the whole spine. And exhale to soften a little more. Good, 2 more here. Nice. Start to roll yourself all the way back up. Left hand reaches behind you. Remove any props underneath the left knee. Come and roll over. Press the knee and shin down. Lift your hips. Reach that right arm up and away. Point the right toes away from the right fingertips. Can you lift the hips a little higher? And then release it all the way back down. Let's lift this left knee and cross it over the right leg. Flex the right toes, hug the knee in with the right arm, bring that left hand back behind you. Take an inhale, lift open through the chest. And as you exhale, find your twist. Again, if you want to go deeper, bring the back of the arm on top of the thigh. Each time you exhale, try and pull the navel to the spine to help find the length and more space in the spine. One more here. And then bring it back to center, little counter twist to the other side. And you bring it all the way back to center, extend both legs. Have your feet towards the top of your mat, flex your toes, reach the arms forwards and start to round through the spine as you slowly, slowly uncurl the spine down into the mat. And then start to pull the knees in towards you. Give yourself a big hug. And let's gently rock from side to side. Maybe you take a happy baby, grab hold of the feet, draw knees to armpits. If you can't hold the feet, you can reach to ankles, calves, or back of the thighs. Just trying to find that last little bit of opening around the inner thighs and the hips whilst massaging the lower back. And then when you feel ready to, come and find your Shavasana position. So if you've got any blankets, any cushions, any bolsters nearby, go and grab them now, get nice and comfortable. Either having the legs long or the legs straight. Let the palms face upwards, shuffle the shoulders a little closer together. Close down your eyes. Let's take a full breath in. And let it go through the mouth. Allow the body to rest and relax into stillness. Feel free to stay here for a little bit longer. But if you're ready to come back to center, start to wriggle the fingers and toes as you deepen your breath. Taking a big stretch or hugging the knees in. And in your own way, in your own time, come and find your way back to a seated position, bringing the eyes to close. Once you get there, and regrounding down through the sit bones, finding length through the spine, shoulders soft, face is soft, breath is soft. Let's bring the hands together in front of the chest. Take a deep breath in. Let it go through the mouth. Gently bow the head. Bring thumbs to eyebrow center. Thanking yourself for your practice and for showing upon the mat today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and see you soon.